it's your girl Bondy Blue, and I am back for another review episode of 911. You guys, so y'all, the world is so small because, hold up, let me get my sweater on coat. The world is so small. My god sister Lindsay was actually a supervising producer, and she wrote this episode. Her name is Lindsay Boye. And I was just like, did they just say Lindsay wrote this episode, girl? Like my mom had called me last week and was like, I think Lindsay's a writer on the show. I said, well, that wasn't surprising me. Lindsay is written on many a show, Treme, a lot of stuff. She's, very out there in Hollywood doing her thing, and it's been like that for a while. So I haven't seen her in years. But when I saw this, I was like, oh, how cool is that? Especially because Tim Minear, the executive producer of the show, kind of sort of knows who I am. He's seen a review or two of mine. And to find out that she's, part of the writing staff and a supervising producer, I was just like, oh, how small is this world? She did a great job. The episode was very good. Let's go ahead and get into it. So, the episode starts off with these two women, and it's a best friend and a wife. The wife is obviously going through something with her husband, ex-husband, soon to be whatever. He done cheated, done something, but it's about to be over. So the best friend is trying to get the wife to smash some stuff up, and so she's saying, what about when he did that? Yeah, right? Yeah, he did that. Bow. Okay, but what about when he did that to you? Yeah. Bow, yes, and I was there, and that was it, going off about everything she done been through with this man. Then the friend let it slip, and the friend was like, and what about that noise he makes in bed? And this is when the wife realized that she had never given that tidbit of information to her best friend. I knew he was seeing someone else. And then she really starts breaking stuff, and then we get the 911 call. Someone help me. My best friend's trying to kill me. Oh my God. You shouldn't have never took her to this place if you knew what the secret was. This was your fault. This was dumb on your part, ma'am, okay? But she somehow crawled into one of those huge cans, like those aluminum bins. I can't think of the word that you would call those things. But either way, she climbed into one of them, and homegirl must have been hitting it while she was inside of it. So her ears are ringing, she can't really hear. And then because it's so dented, they have to cut her out of it. And when they cut her out of it, she doesn't want to press charges. She doesn't want her friend to get arrested. And Athena is like, you want to help your friend bail her out of jail, okay? And she was like, I don't want anything from her. I hate you. We are no longer friends. And it's just kind of like, well, girl, y'all had the same taste in men. But you ain't gonna never be my friend after that. I'm that lady, okay? I am definitely that lady beating the shit out of you inside of an aluminum can. And then I'm gonna go home and beat up my husband with the sledgehammer without the aluminum can. Look, another story for another time. So y'all, Bobby and the rest of the crew have to sit through mediation for this lawsuit that Buck is filing against the department. He wants his job back so bad that he's willing to ruin his friendships with everybody from the 118th. Okay, I don't understand it. All you want to do is go back to being a firefighter with your crew, but you gonna tell this lawyer everything about them, everything you know about them, so that you could use it against them. I was like, I wish somebody kick Buck in the knee right now. I really want y'all to kick Buck in the knee right now. The lawyer is trying to say that Bobby has favoritism and that everybody else, Chimney, Eddie, anybody else that's had to be out, have been out for little less than a month. So at the most, a month. Buck has been out for much longer than that. Everybody tries to defend Bobby and say that no, it's just because Buck is on blood thinners. And the last time we let Buck go to work and we had a party, Buck was throwing up blood and bleeding from the eyes and nose, okay? He was bleeding from everywhere, throwing up blood all over Athena's nice lawn. So excuse me if we think that maybe he shouldn't be back on the job yet, okay? That's just ridiculous. And we got to talk about Chimney and the rhubarb through his head. We still don't know how Chimney made it through that. We still don't know. That's amazing. That's because y'all didn't want Chimney to die on this show. But I don't know if that can actually happen for something to go through your head like that, and then y'all just pull it out, little skull, back to work within a few weeks. Damn. Okay, that didn't mess nothing up. No cognitive reasoning has been messed up because of the rhubarb. Whatever. But either way, they have to go through these very tough times in everybody's somebody's life to try to prove this point. So Buck is sitting there not even making eye contact as we talk about when Eddie's wife died. Talk about when Chimney was stabbed up by Maddie's crazy ass ex-husband. And then they tried to make Hen look bad by saying that when she was a pharmaceutical rep, she had said that people who use the blood thinners that Buck is using, they will be able to get back to their lives. And it's like, I'm not a doctor and everybody's case is different, but that was a nice try, skeezy ass lawyer. Then lastly, if that wasn't enough, we have to talk about how Hen and Buck found Bobby passed out in his apartment after he relapsed. And they used that against him. Like, oh, he must not be fit for his job. Why was he able to come back after the relapse so soon? Like, it was just really nasty. Chimney didn't know about that, so he was kind of feeling a little salty about the fact that he didn't know that Bobby had relapsed and everything. But, you know, Chimney, stay happy. Stay happy over there, okay? It's safe to say that everyone is mad at Buck. We can just go ahead and say that. All right, y'all, now we got to make fun of these crazy-ass PETA people. Okay, because that's basically what this was, okay? No disrespect. I feel like people do the most with the animals and the way they get food from them. Like, they do the most. Like, it's cruel, unusual, terrible treatment in a lot of these situations. Yes, I do have a problem with that. But I am also a pork, beef, chicken, turkey eating somebody, okay? So if we can do this in a more humane way, that would be great. But my taste buds don't taste the difference. But I do love my dogs. Just saying. All right. So they want to save some ducks, okay? Whoever this guy who owns this farm is, he has like this thing, this breaker belt or whatever, where they put the chickens or the turkeys on there, and as they go around, it squeezes their necks and breaks their necks. So the PETA people, you know, for lack of a better name for this group, come in, they're angry, okay? You're hurting defenseless ducks, you know what I'm saying? And one of the guys locks himself into the belt. And the belt gets turned on when somebody decides to douse the belt with blood. Okay. You know, like the whole little electrical for it. So once it was doused with the blood, it came on. Everybody else had their key who had connected themselves to the belt. So they were able to unlock it and get off of it. The one guy who decided to be a jerk and swallow his key is now suffocating. So they call 911. The crew gets there. They got him loose. And this is when the owner decides to turn off the belt. And Bobby realized that he could have done that the entire time. This dude could have died. And you were going to let him so you could prove a point about how you know, annoying they are. Seriously, you was going to let him die? What's wrong with you, bro? And see, that's the problem. That's the problem. That is the mindset of a lot of people, that because you are inconveniencing me, you can almost die. That is a problem. That is a problem, which I think bleeds through to how they handle the animals, which is why it's so terrible. Okay, so this was speaking volumes. I don't disagree with y'all, okay? I'm just saying the next time somebody pull up on me, I'm not saying the next time, it ain't never happened, but you ain't about to pull up on me the way y'all pulled up on Lil' Kim. And she wasn't even wearing no fur. And y'all pulled up on her because she has worn fur. If I want to wear fur, I'm going to wear fur. Please get over it. Please go find something else that actually, you know, affects social issues. Like, you know, as a black person, to see people care more about an animal than a black child, like, I don't have any patience, time, or fucks to give about that, just to be honest with y'all. But at this moment, Bobby wants to strangle this guy. Hen has to make him stop. The guy starts choking because that key must have like got, you know, caught up in there somewhere. So they had to do CPR, and then he threw up blood and all of this type of stuff, but he was okay. But he could have died because this man wanted to prove a point. And then when he was almost about to die, the man was like, oh, please don't die on my property. Please don't die on my property. And it was just like, when they saved him, Bobby was like, so I guess you're not going to be pressing charges, huh? He was like, no, it's cool. It's cool. Like, I know it is. So Michael, y'all, and I'm going to tell y'all something. I don't want no more scenes of people driving in cars, okay? Because every time, they weren't even sitting in that car for 2 seconds before I got the fear. The fear started to creep up. That this was now going to be a moment that was racially charged, and I was going to feel how it makes us feel, okay? Like, it puts us smack dab as if we were in that situation. Every time we have to watch it, it's almost like we trading spots with the person, okay? Like, at least for me, whenever I see things like this, whether real or, you know, a dramatized version of it, I always feel the same. So when I saw it happening, I was just like, oh Lord, here we go. My nerves about to, my heartbeat sped up and everything. I had to pour some more wine in my glass, y'all. So they're coming home from seeing the grandparents, all right? Michael has May and Harry is in the back seat, sleep. They eating cookies, being a wholesome black family coming home from grandma's house, okay? Get pulled over by these two cops. Apparently, his plates were expired, okay? Whatever it was. But he had them in the car. For some reason, the cop had to prove a point. Get out the car. Okay, but I have the plates right here. Put your hands on the car. Bow. You know, they got to do all of this extra stuff. This is when the little boy wakes up. May jumps out of the car to start recording because y'all didn't just manhandle her daddy and pushed his face into a fucking car for no reason. I'm sorry. I know y'all don't like the profanity as much, but I'm sorry. Like, this is how I feel, and I'm going to talk how I feel in this moment. So, she has her phone out. The cop, the young cop, pulls out his gun and points it when Harry jumps up from the back seat trying to see what's going on. Because he was asleep. So all he knows is he just heard this loud boom sound and his dad is now outside of the car. So he jumps up and the police officer is pointing a gun at him. Michael says, please don't kill my son. Please don't kill my son. My wife is a sergeant for LAPD, Athena Grant. Can you please not shoot my kid? Okay, like... So the cop goes around, opens the door, and sees the little boy in the back seat with his hands up like this. You didn't just traumatize this child because you so scared of what was going to pop up in that car. And I'm sorry, y'all. This is just my feeling. I understand it's a stressful situation. I understand you never know. There have been terrible stories of people doing traffic stops, come up to the car, and somebody blows their head off. That's why you're not allowed to have certain tinted windows in certain states. I get that. All right? I totally get that. But at the end of the day, how can you assess this situation and feel like it was about to be, some foolishness? It wasn't a whole bunch of grown men in the car, that smelled like weed. Or there's nothing in this situation that should have made you feel like your life was in danger. And that is my problem. If you are that scared of a child in the backseat of a car, then I'm really, really going to need for you to go ahead and become a firefighter or do something else with your life. Please do something else with your life that does not give you a gun if you're going to be that damn jumpy when a little boy who was in the... Y'all walked up to the car and you didn't look in the back seat? I mean, I cannot. But either way, once they realized who Athena Grant was, they walked back over to their car. The older guy tells the younger guy to calm down, it's going to be all right. Then he walks back over to Michael and hands him his registration and his license back, asking him if that was his car. But the way he smiled and handed it back to him, like, oh, here you go, have a good night. Like, after you didn't just traumatize me and my kids, you want us to have a good night? Word? I can't tell y'all how much that infuriates me. It really, really does. When they get back to Athena's house, Michael is pissed. And Athena is taking the stance of, the police officers, and not everybody's a bad cop, and you got to understand how they feel. And you're walking up to a car, you don't know what anybody's going to do. So Athena is making excuses for the cops. And now we got to sit down and talk to the boy about how not to get shot by cops, because we're supposed to hold a child more accountable for their actions and their reactions to a grown-ass white man with a gun. He, however, is not responsible for how he acts whatsoever. He's entitled to be scared. He's entitled to kill somebody. But this little boy has to remember all of these things. Don't move. Always show your hands. Don't reach over too quick. They ask you for your license and registration. You got to ask them before you can reach over to get it. All kind of stuff. And even then, you were still shot and killed. Even then, they will still shoot and kill you. So the fact that you have to go through all of these things and all these minute moments and movements to make sure that your child is doing everything that they can do to not get shot. But oh God, if anybody asks why a cop is allowed to do this over and over again, it will be pushed under the rug because there is no accountability and no responsibility in most police departments. And it is the realization of the situation. And it pisses me off, because I don't think it makes sense in any form that police are allowed to police themselves. That is the dumbest shit that y'all have ever come up with. But it goes back to the police department being mostly made up of KKK members originally. And what y'all were actually doing is what y'all do now, going around killing black people. Like, everybody act like this is so far in the past, but it's actually not. It's actually not. And to me, for everybody that screams that we need to get over slavery, how do you not see the correlation in slavery with how certain police officers handle people these days? It's almost the exact same thing where you got to make sure that you don't look up in master's eyes and don't make them mad and don't be disrespectful, because they'll be able to kill you and your mama will be crying on the news while he gets a slap on the wrist and gets sent to another precinct. May wanted to upload the video because she recorded the whole thing, but her mom tells her no, she doesn't want that type of, eyes on them, because that will go national and then everybody will know who they were, and then you'd have people reacting to that negatively or positively. But either way, they don't need that type of attention on that family, and I did agree with Athena on that. Don't post it. Don't post it, okay? Because your mama can actually handle it. So don't post it, okay? Because that's going to be more problems. Because there's always going to be somebody who wants to scream about how all lives matter and blue lives matter and all of this. You are not a blue life. You're not a blue life. There is no such thing. Please stop saying that shit, okay? You are either a white cop or in this situation, a black cop, or and you're either racist or you're not. But this whole blue life thing is such bullshit to me. It's just another way for you to play victim as you victimize other people. And it's another way to not be held responsible for your actions, because you put your life in danger all the time, as if that's not a choice that you made. Nobody forced you to do that. Nobody forced you to be a police officer. And when you become one, you should understand the risk. And that should be weighed against what it's supposed to be, which is serving and protecting, and not accosting, assaulting, and killing people because they're black and you're scared of black people. Even though historically, white people have been way more violent and aggressive towards us than we've been towards them, but the narrative remains the same. Oh, Lord, y'all, that makes my nerves bad. Eddie drops his son off to the sleepover, and he's stressed out. Christopher hasn't been sleeping well, we know. He drops the son off, and he's walking off. He's about to get in his car, and some jerk is standing outside his car screaming about how he had to walk a block because Eddie parked in a handicapped spot. He looks fine to him. And it's like, dude, my son is handicapped. I just had to drop my son off, whatever. But the dude is still running his mouth talking about, just like the guys that put the dummies in the back of their car. He was like, say, bro, don't disrespect my kid like that. It's like, Eddie, he's not disrespecting your kid. He thinks you're lying. Like, what's happening here? But either way, Eddie was mad. Mad like me talking about that last scene and punched dude in the face and got arrested, and then Rhonda had to come get him out of jail. I said, oh, Lord, Eddie. Eddie. Calm down, Eddie. You can't be going to jail, Eddie. You got a son to think about, Eddie. Lord have mercy. Buck gets called into his lawyer's office, and the city has offered him millions of dollars. But Buck didn't want millions of dollars. Buck wanted his job back and to go back to his old precinct. I said, Buck, you don't know what you want. Because if that's what you wanted, you could have just waited. But you didn't want to wait. You wanted to do all of this. And now what they offering you millions of dollars and you don't want it. I said, Buck, I'd have took the millions of dollars. I don't know what's wrong with you. But I get it. If he would have took that money, he would have never been able to go back and be a firefighter. So I guess he, was like, no, I don't want the money. And the lawyer was like, dude, I did exactly what you wanted me to do. Because he tried to get all defensive and say that he didn't tell the lawyer all of that personal information about his friends for him to use it. He just was giving it to him as information. I said, Buck, shut up. You know exactly what you were doing. I don't know why you sitting up here acting like you didn't want no parts or what happened. When you sat there knowing that he would put all that information out. And when he did put all that information out, not once did you interject and say, wait, you've gone too far. You let him do it because it meant more to you to get that job back than the people you so-called call family. But get out of my face. I don't know what, you and Maddie's mama and daddy did to y'all, but you are very selfish and disgusting. Okay? Disgusting. Athena talks to her superior after looking into the older cop that accosted Michael. And she basically says that he does it all the time, but he always stops short of doing something actually illegal, so they can never really do anything about it. It just gets pushed under the rug, and if Athena files a complaint, it'll probably get pushed under the rug as well. Rhonda takes Eddie to a fight club so that he can get some stress out. How about you beat up people who are getting paid to do it instead of someone who might sue you later on, okay? But we watched Rhonda beat the hell out of some guy that was twice her size to Rebel Girl. That was my shit back in the day. Rebel girl, rebel girl, rebel girl, you are the queen of my world. Rebel girl, rebel girl. I think I wanna take her home and make her. Okay, I'm sorry. I like grunge girl rock from the 90s and early 2000s. Yes, I do. Michael and Bobby sit down and talk, and Michael just tells Bobby about how appreciative he is to have him in the kid's life in case something had happened to him. And Bobby, I think for the first time, is looking at him and realizing what this fear does to black people. When these moments happen, how you've taken this safety away. It's almost like somebody robs your house or anything else where you feel like your safety has been compromised in your own space. And how are you supposed to feel safe when the people who are supposed to protect you are the ones who are hurting you? So it's tough. And I saw the look on Bobby's face when Michael was talking about how scared he was that something could have happened to him. And, like the realization setting in. And then he talks to him before he goes to talk to Harry about this conversation that he has to have with his son. And, no sudden moves. Keep your hands where they can see them. If you try to get your license, even though the little boy don't have one, he still got to know, don't reach over abruptly. Ask first. Also, be respectful. And, you know what I'm saying? It's all, don't make eye contact. Like, the things that we have to do in order to keep ourselves safe is so ridiculous. It is so ridiculous. And I really feel like if you are that scared, don't be a cop. Especially don't be a cop in a neighborhood where there are black people if you are scared of black people, which I feel like is such bullshit. Y'all are not really scared. I don't think y'all are scared. I think that y'all feel like there are black people out here trying to do to y'all what y'all have done to us. So y'all, Athena had to do something. Wasn't gonna sit on her elbows with this situation. Athena pulls over that cop, that old cop that hit Michael's head against the car, okay? Pulls him over just as he's leaving a bar. He's been doing a little after work drinking off the clock, okay? So she pulls him over, gets him to get out the car, makes him go through the sobriety field test and everything to try to prove her point. And the whole time he's giving the regular spiel, I didn't know that was your family. And it's like, I don't understand why y'all missed this point. They always say that. They always say, I didn't know it was your family. And it's like, do you not understand that it shouldn't have mattered if it was my family, that you shouldn't do that to anybody's family? Y'all, I can't. I just cannot. Like, just the willful ignorance. And I really feel like people say stuff like that. They know exactly what they're doing, but they just want to pretend like they don't know what they're doing because it infuriates us even more. Then he says that he could file a complaint against her for retribution. And Athena says retribution would be for me to have pulled you over when you had your kids in the car. Later, at the station, the younger cop shows up to apologize to her. And she says, I remember being a young cop too. I remember that, so I understand. But do better. Do better. Okay, Ginger? Do better. So the crew goes grocery shopping, y'all. Y'all know Bobby about to get in there and be the gourmet cook that he is. Child, to be on the set of 911 every now and again, okay? Eddie tells Ronza that the asshole who he punched in the face dropped the charges because this wasn't the first time that he'd gotten into a fight. And his knee surgery was like 3 years ago. So he was just using that. So somebody who's obviously mad at life just going around spreading that to everybody. Child, whatever. So they run into Buck, who is 8 miles away from his neighborhood in a grocery store. He said he's there to apologize to everybody. And Eddie is pissed. Eddie is more angry than everybody else. And he says, bro, do you know what you did? You don't care about anybody but yourself. I couldn't even call you when I got arrested if that's what had happened. He realized that he didn't mean to say that in front of everybody. But it was the point that you my friend, you my best friend, and I couldn't call you because you filed a lawsuit against us, all because you can't wait your turn to come back to work. And they can't even be regular people for 5 minutes because there is some foolishness going on in the parking lot. Some guy ran into the back of another car over and over and over again. I wasn't sure why. I saw like the altercation, but it was right in the mix of this fight between Eddie and Buck. So then they have to go outside to try to, get control of the situation. The guy who ran into the back of one car runs off around the parking lot. So the car that was getting hit speeds off to try to cut the other car off from leaving the parking lot and pushes the other car on top of a hydrant. And when the hydrant gets loose, all the water starts coming out and the car is now flying in the air and they have to handle that situation. So then we see Henrietta and her wife. And y'all know Karen been going through IVF and they were supposed to get some viable eggs. Earlier that episode, they found out they had 6 eggs. By the time Henrietta got home that night, Karen had found out that none of those eggs were usable. So they had to start the process all over again. And now she's like, I should have froze my eggs when I was young. And, I don't know what to do. And should we even continue to do this? And she's thinking that maybe she wants to quit. But Henny's like, no, we're going to keep pushing. We're going to do it again. We're going to try again. And y'all, I felt this moment so deeply. Okay, for real. I really did. Because people love to tell me how, how hard it is to get pregnant, how I might not get pregnant because I stop my period every now and again with birth control, whatever. Either way, I've heard a lot. I've already felt a lot as a 31-year-old woman who has never been pregnant before. Like, you have all of these feelings and fears about it. And then everybody's always telling you not to, as if that's going to make you not. So, like, in this moment, I totally attached myself to her in this storyline and totally understood why she was sitting on the end of her bed, boohoo crying about this, because it feels like maybe you should have been more irresponsible, or fake like you wasn't trying to get pregnant but really was, okay? Because I feel like it's either being irresponsible or faking like you ain't want to get pregnant most of the time. Yes, there are always the small percentage of people who condoms break or the birth control doesn't work, whatever. It's always those small cases, but 9 times out of 10, according to paternity court, half of y'all don't be on birth control and just assume you're not going to get pregnant, I guess. I don't know. And then, the other half, we was trying to get pregnant even though we're not in a relationship and we don't even really like each other, but we wanted to have a baby together. Like, what the fuck? Anyway, but yeah, you feel like, okay, so maybe I should have been out here having children when I wasn't ready and all of this type of stuff, emotionally and mentally. Because now I've gotten to a point where I am ready emotionally and mentally, and it might not be able to happen for me physically. You know what I'm saying? So I totally understood how she felt. Now, she's much older than me. I'm only 31 years old. I still got, some good tickers on this. But at the same time, the feeling is still very real. So Bobby takes the crew to break stuff. Okay, they go back to that place that they were at the beginning of the episode to save that lady stuck in a can from the wife who found out that her best friend was screwing her husband. Okay, y'all remember? All right, so that's what we had. We came to break some stuff. And Buck comes, and Bobby tells him he's been reinstated, and they did give him the option of sending him to another district, but he decided to keep him in his precinct of the 118th. But he got to remember, it's Bobby's house, so it's Bobby's rules. And then Eddie ends up going back to the Fight Club and get the shit out of somebody. So that was entertaining to watch. Y'all, I'm telling y'all right now, watching Ronda Rousey beat up that big ass dude was so amazing. Like, I want to take classes. I want to learn how to beat up people twice my size. I really do. Right now, all I know is to hit you in the weak spot and hope for the best. Okay? Bow, bow. Okay? Dick, neck. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, Lord. But yeah, the episode was very good. I enjoyed it so much. I hope y'all enjoyed it as well. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. I love y'all. I'll see y'all in the next one.